Hey, welcome to another episode of Kira Rising. Sorry, I have like pet hair over my face. Um, I'm Kira Xiong. I haven't done a video in a while. I had been doing some work on some videos recently. I have a harp and mindfulness in production. It's a bit of a big project. I have a vision for it. I'm going to do some limited mobility yoga videos. The first one's chair yoga, so that's coming shortly. But this is a check-in video because I want to be keeping up with my channel here. I'm learning to have gracious expectations for myself so that oh, well, I said the harp and mindfulness video is going to be next. But it's not next. This one. I'm backing off on my word because my word is so important to me that I keep it. But gracious expectations is meaning giving space to, not being what I expect of myself. Let it just be. So I wanted to give a video to check in how I'm doing, and allergies are just through the roof. My immune system is compromised, so allergies are just like having a big party in my body. Thankfully, it's not that overwhelming, but it's just like constantly I'm having to notice that I have allergies. Let's see. So I'll be wiping my nose periodically. So last infusion I had, it was on the 9th of this month. It was my second infusion. And when I was in the lobby waiting to be called to get to the infusion chair, I was on the Reddit community for ovarian cancer. And someone posted, just brand new post, how her first infusion she had a anaphylactic shock reaction to the Taxol chemotherapy, which is also what I'm taking. And I read her story about how she had an allergic reaction and she was discouraged about having to go through treatment because she had such a strong reaction to it. And I sent a message back with encouragement and support that very moment that I read it, because I was like, it's brand new post, let me give it some light here, add some light to it. And guess what, after finally getting through adding the right infusion site for me, because we had to move it around a couple times because people can't find my veins on my right arm and this or that, and it has to be a vertical vein, and it's all this business. And then after getting the anti-nausea medicines that they do for the IV infusion, it was now 11 o'clock and it was time for my first chemo, which is the Taxol. And my mom was there with me because she was, I like to have my parents visit when I'm having my infusions because it really is a lot of support for me. And it was it was 30, maybe less than 30 seconds that the Taxol started. I started to feel the heat go through all my veins, move fast through all of my veins, through my arms and my legs, and my heart started beating really fast out of my chest. And I thought to myself, this is different from last time. So I called my nurse. I said, Nurse Tao, I'm having a reaction to the Taxol. I'm having a reaction. She immediately turns off the Taxol. Great news, but it's already done. My heart is going down into the 60s of beats per minute. I am going into a shock, an allergic reaction shock. I am losing consciousness. I remember I was really, really weak, really, really, really slow, barely talking, and I started losing my eyesight. Everything was going white, and I couldn't, and then my hearing started to be gone. I started to not be able to hear people or hear my own voice while I was speaking. And it was just like they told me just to keep breathing because they were flushing me with saline and they were giving me Benadryl and steroids, and it was just a lot of like 4 or 5 nurses working with me to keep me alive from that a medical emergency that was happening. I even remember a nurse saying, "Should we call 911?" I was like, but we're at a hospital. Should we just call a doctor? But I didn't say that out loud. No, a nurse said, "No, we're going to be able to get through this." So my body literally went through a shock throughout, like, my whole body. And it was so scary. It was so scary and really, really hard on me on an emotional level, a mental level, and obviously a physical level. Even right now, as I'm talking about it, my chest is heavy and my throat is getting tight. And it did make recovery from my infusion day take longer and be rougher. But it was rougher. Thankfully, they were able to give me Ativan through the infusion as well, or whatever, give me a shot, I couldn't remember. That also helped with the reaction and helped with the anxiety about having to have gone through that. So it kept me calm for the rest of the infusions. They were able to give me enough steroids and Benadryl that I was able to take a slower drip of the Taxol, and I was able to get through that. And then the carboplatin was the next one. That's like a 45-minute one that's already on a slow drip, and thankfully no reaction to that. Didn't feel the burning pain in my veins. I'm still having a big bruise from the last time I took carboplatin on my arm. So it's literally like day 11. No, sorry, I'm not counting right. Day 8. I started feeling so much better yesterday, and I'm just like, thank God. I've been praying to feel better yesterday, because it's just like, when your body goes through that shock, your body's going to be in recovery from going into that kind of shock. And it's not a pretty journey, and I will not be going into the details of it. But just imagine just feeling super sick. Just feeling super, super sick. Worse than the flu. So it did affect me on an emotional level, on a mental level. It brought more reality to this cancer journey and the effect it has on my life. And more of like a grief, a realization with grief about having cancer and like what it takes to fight it. And I can say right now that I have so much joy that I can fight this cancer, and that this cancer does respond to chemotherapy. I do have so much joy because I think that's a privilege. I think it's rare to be able to have the resources you need to fight something like this. And I'm very grateful for what I have, and I'm grateful that I can do this. So yes, I have a lot of joy, and have joy for the future of when this is all going to be done. Hopefully in September. And then joy for how it's making me grow as a person, what it's bringing deeper meaning for life for me. And I feel myself growing and changing and maturing and wisening in ways that I deeply have desired for in the past. So I had my therapy appointment on day 6, and it was such a great day to have a therapy appointment because I was feeling a lot, and it was still feeling sick, not as bad, but it was the day before I started feeling better. And on my therapy, I was talking about how my mood was low, and that I'm not feeling as positive about fighting cancer, right? Because they say to stay positive, to keep being positive through this is like one of the best ways to fight cancer, is to stay positive. And I question what it means. Why is it that staying positive helps fight cancer? And I don't know what people mean when they tell me this too. And so I was feeling guilty about not being positive for like 6 days. And my therapist was like, well, this all makes sense. This is important that you are coming to this realization, and you're coming to this grief, this part of it. And that, it's important that you're taking time to recognize what this all is meaning to you. At the same time, you can still make positivity important as well. And I made a note that says, make positivity important, and it's like bent, so I have it propped up. And I was like, yes, positivity is important. I'm naturally a joyful person. It's in my name. Kira Joy Ann is my last middle name. And joy's always been there. A lot of people don't know this, but 2 years ago, I had to go to a partial hospitalization program because I was a danger to myself. It's not easy to say this out loud to everyone right now, but if you have questions, I could talk about that experience in another video. But when I was graduating from that program 2 years ago, they had this box. It was like a treasure chest box. And it had rocks with words on them. But the rocks were turned over. And there was 2 rocks left. And there was someone else graduating that day too. And I let them choose the rock first. And then I chose the last rock. And as soon as I turned it over, I was like, of course this is the word on my rock from graduating from my partial hospitalization program. Joy. It always follows me. It is constantly being reminded to me. It felt like I was being seen beyond seen when I found that I chose this rock that says joy by letting someone else choose a rock first. It's just like kismet. I love kismet. And so I have been able to have my positivity back. And I think I'm able to have and carry and nurture and protect my positivity because I make it important to also recognize my grief about what I'm going through. That I recognize my anger, my sadness, my fears, and I make space for those emotions for myself. And that's, part of the work I do as being a licensed therapist. Emotions is my job, it's my work, but it's only one piece of it. But it's a main piece as well. And a lot of people don't realize that emotions are just as relevant as numbers, like in math, in this world. It's just like if there was a scientific law of recognizing the observable in the nature of this world, emotions is one of those elements. Emotions are physically felt in the body, and because our brain has a system of sending hormones throughout the body when an emotion is felt. And so if emotions are that relevant and important, why not give them the same amount of respect as mathematics at the very least? Yeah, the number 1 is real. And there are also imaginary numbers according to calculus. There's anger is real. Sadness is real. Fear is real. And the imagination is important. Because the imagination is your brain working with you to tell you the meaning of those emotions to you in that moment. So that's just my little spiel about emotions that I like to share with you, because it's my job. I'm very passionate about emotions. I'm a passionate person, and I'm passionate about people honoring themselves about what they feel. So if I can be any kind of an example, I'd like it to challenge you. I'd like to challenge you to be open to your emotions today. Just be open. Maybe 5% open to your emotions. Or 10. You know what you can give. Because I hope that you can honor yourself through recognizing your own emotions throughout the day. Yeah. So this has been a longer check-in than I realized. I'm going to start wrapping up. I do hope to get those videos out for you, the mindfulness and harp, and a video on chair yoga. I'm very excited to share it with you guys. And so much more. Obviously, I'm so glad that I have this channel to be an outlet for everything I want to give and share. Here's my magical support chicken, Tabitha, my aunt, or aunt, however you pronounce it, my aunt in Minnesota, Aunt Fran. She knitted this magical healing chicken for me. You know what? Let me show you. I did a Facebook post, obviously, but I haven't done a video. Look at her. She has this necklace. She has a necklace with a heart on it. And look at this. And look at these eyes. And look at the beak. Like, and she's got a shawl. And look at the colors. And then the texture. There's like a texture thing here happening with the white. It's just like amazing. Doesn't she? And she's super huggable. Like, yeah. Magical support chicken, Tabitha. I'm glad you can meet her today. Thank you, Tabitha. I'll put you back. Make sure your face is seen though, because we want to see you in the back. Oh, good. She followed through. All right. Thank you so much for taking time for me today by letting me check in with you. Thank you for listening, and I hope that this video brought you something good, something joyful, something meaningful, something deep, something challenging, maybe even. Yeah, excited to see you next time. Take care. Love you.